Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about Melody's Instagram post where she shouts out Sugar Mama for wanting a very nice vehicle, and it just gives anti-struggle lesson that she is teaching to her kids. It's a very important discussion that I want to have. And then we have a couple of different church stories that we have to get into. I'm sure that you all have opinions about them. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, before we do, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. Even if you were to hit the dislike button, either one of those work the same, meaning that YouTube will recommend this video to more people who enjoy discussing the various topics surrounding love and marriage Huntsville. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you as one of the showstoppers. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. Okay, so we have this post from the lovely Melody Cherie. I am going to go to her actual Instagram page so that I can see it and read it to you all. So first it says, there is a text from Mariah, Melody's oldest daughter, and it says, "Hey mom, this is Mariah. Can you pick up one of your dresses from the J Bowling collection? I'll send you the dress. I want to wear it to the sixth grade dance. Thank you. Sincerely, Mariah." And shout out to Mariah for the very business-like text to her mom, okay? Thank you, sincerely, Mariah. I love that. Okay, and then Melody responds. She posts the text on her Instagram and says, "Aw, when I say I was working all day yesterday, but when I got this text from my baby, it warmed my heart. This is why the internet ish don't faze me, because in my real life, my kiddos see a woman who is about her business, loving them the way they deserve to be loved, and showing them what staying focused and consistent can do. Like my 4-year-old literally said she wants a Bugatti Tesla when asked what kind of car she wants when she grows up." And the laughing emoji, hashtag Sugar Mama. It's a hashtag lifestyle legacy. I'm going to keep grinding and staying focused. I encourage you to do the same. Peace. And then in another Instagram post, Melody writes, "Now let me find some tights for Mariah to wear under this dress." But I really wanted to talk about this post because I know that for a long time, a lot of us in our community, we would almost like wear our struggle on our sleeves. You know, like the saying, some people wear their heart on their sleeves, some people wear their struggle on their sleeves. I remember some months back, I made a poll on my community tab and I asked you all, at what point do you force your young adult child to move out of the house? And for answer choices, I put at the age 18, because I had to struggle, so they have to struggle. And another answer choice was like, after they have a bachelor's degree and they've secured a job. And then another answer choice was like, after they've worked a few years and they've saved up some money. Now there was a small percentage of people who said, as soon as they hit 18, they have to go because I struggled, so now it's their turn. And I feel like at some point, we have to break that cycle. I think that that is very detrimental to our race when we decide that the kid is a young adult, so now you go fend for yourself. They have no skill set. Even if you waited until your kid earned a bachelor's degree, they should still live at home for a while, in my opinion, to save up some money. What if they want to buy a home and maybe they don't want to rent month after month? And then, for some people, they say the money goes out the window, whereas with a house, you can enjoy it for as long as you want and then either sell it and make some money, or you can rent it out and have that monthly income until it's paid off or until you decide to sell. So I think, in my opinion, let the kids save up some money, even for when they do move out. If they do just rent an apartment, they're going to need money for furniture. They're going to need the security deposit, the first month's rent. They're going to have to pay the movers. They're going to have to buy some items as well. Let them get established. And, give them time just to grow and learn after high school, after college. Some people don't know what to do if, God forbid, they get into a car accident. Be sitting beside them when they call the insurance company or when they go to secure insurance. Be there with them when they go to buy their first car, when they go to look at houses with a realtor. Give them that guidance. Just because someone turns 18 or 21 doesn't mean that they have all of the knowledge. None of us did at those tender ages. And then also, what comes to my mind when I read this post is, I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching your kids quality things. Do they need like material things or always high end design? Of course not. But I think at the same time, it teaches them, especially the Black girls, it teaches them at a young age. If he can't match who you are, if he's not on your level, do not settle. Do not settle. Don't I feel like as a young adult, there were times where I was told, like, don't be too picky. Don't expect the man to bring steak to the table and you can't bring steak or you're bringing chopped liver. And this was like from older church going women, straight up. I feel like sometimes Black women are conditioned to settle and date potential, and meanwhile, Black men would never. They would never date potential. They want to make sure that you have a good job. They want to find out, do you live alone? Do you have your own place? You own your house? You pay a mortgage? Do you have any kids? They're thinking about how you can add convenience to them, and they don't have to put out as much money or responsibility, to maintain that stability, maintain the roof over your head. So, they want a shapely but slender woman, a slim, thick woman with the long hair, right? So Black men are always very cut and dry, black and white, no gray areas about what they want. But I feel like Black women, Black girls are conditioned to settle. So I feel like this message is teaching sugar mama, she want that Tesla. She's not going to go for somebody who can only be in the hoopty. And I don't think there is anything wrong with that. And then she's also growing up watching her mom packaging all of our Seventh Avenue skincare items that we're buying. They're seeing her work hard, have her own. And so her daughters are only seeing that image. They only know hard work and to have your own and be able to provide for yourself. And you don't want anybody who's half stepping it and cannot bring the same. So I think that that is a very important message to have. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Now, as far as parents who did really struggle, maybe their parents put them out at 18 or put them out as soon as they got pregnant. I'm definitely sorry that that happened because, again, I disagree with that. I get it. Some parents, they don't want to be these built-in babysitters. They don't want to be young grandparents who are always babysitting the kids every week. You would set those boundaries, of course, where you're not babysitting, but maybe now is the time to teach them some things like, okay, you got this one baby. You need to think about your goals. You need to think about how much work it is being a mom and make sure that, you're using protection or let me get you on the pill or something so that you can get yourself established before you have the next baby. I think that those conversations and those actions should take place versus just putting them out in the world to fend for themselves. And then sometimes in some areas, some neighborhoods, that could lead to more crime where the young person is put out and they don't know what to do. They can't get a decent paying job. They don't have any skill sets. And then, they're trying to break into people's homes. I'm just thinking about the future and how stuff can spread out and affect other people. So I just love seeing another Black person, a Black woman teaching her kids high quality, high standards. A 4-year-old sugar mama, she already knows what a Tesla is. She already wants one. I think that that is great. Bravo. I'll never forget, like, it was on a Sunday. I decided to go to like like a neighborhood pub, and I was there like at 12 noon. And me and the bartender, we were just talking, and the pub is in a shopping plaza, like, and this white man pulled up in this Tesla, and I don't know if it was his weekend with his two kids, or if he, maybe the wife just wanted to stay home, but they were getting out the car, and it was a Tesla, and they were sitting in the trunk. And the bartender was like, "I'm sorry, but them two kids just got out the trunk." And I turned and I could see, I was like, "Yes, they did." And I Googled, I was like, so some Tesla models, you can sit in the trunk. So whenever I think of Tesla, that is what I think about. But kudos to Sugar Mama. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about some people in our community? They believe in, you put a kid out right at 18. You remember when you were 18, like, we just don't know all of the ins and outs of adult life. I'm also not a parent, so I don't know what it's like to have a young adult in the crib. Are you collecting some sort of small amount of rent every month? Are you tucking it away in an account? Are you teaching them web banking and what are some of the skill sets that you teach a young adult? I would love to hear that in the comments. So now let's go ahead and get into these crazy church stories, y'all. It is a lot. There's two. So first, I want to talk about what happened at the church in North Braddock, Pennsylvania. So let me share my screen. While I'm doing that, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. I would really, really appreciate it. So let's see here. I'm gonna check StreamYard, make sure you all can see what I see. Okay, StreamYard is catching up. All right, so we got it there. So this is, I'm sure you've heard of this story, where the pastor, while he was preaching, a man walks up to the front of the church and pulls out his pow pow. And it appears as though he tried to, pull the trigger, and it clicked, it like jammed. And then a deacon comes to the rescue. So let's go ahead and play the story. I'm going to mute my mic so that you all do not experience an echo.
He shot. You can hear the gun click. He shot and he came towards me.
You got to give God thanks for giving me the courage to do what I did.
A congregation coming together to heal after a man pointed a gun at the pastor. Tonight, this man, Bernard Polite, is facing charges, but now police are investigating another crime right down the street from that church. They say last night a man was found shot to death in the home where Polite lives. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ken Rice.
And I'm Kim Gable. As Chris Hoffman reports, that pastor who had the gun pointed at him really still in disbelief. We do want to caution you, this is shocking video and the images may be disturbing to some.
Allegheny County police say the man who allegedly went to this church and pointed a gun at a pastor lives at the same house where they're investigating this homicide. Police say they were called to this house near Stokes Avenue and Colmont Street for calls of a man shot. Inside, they found 56-year-old Derek Polite dead. It's the same address as the one listed for Bernard Polite, who allegedly pointed a gun at the pastor Jesus' dwelling place just down the street in North Braddock, walking in during the sermon as it was being live streamed. Neighbors say the two are cousins.
I was really shocked. I couldn't really believe it.
Derek Polite's death is still under investigation. Bernard Polite, meanwhile, was arraigned on a charge of attempted homicide for allegedly firing the gun at Pastor Glenn Germany.
I'm blessed to still be here.
Pastor Germany was still emotional, recalling the moments of fear just 24 hours after he saw the gun pointed at him. His 14-year-old daughter was in the congregation. He thought it was the end.
Just watching my daughter break down after the fact of what happened and her seeing it. Yeah, it touches you in a way.
Bernard Polite and the pastor don't know each other. He allegedly went in and out of the church a few times prior to pointing the gun at Germany. Court papers say Polite told the pastor God told him to do this. Germany believes he may have been under the influence of something.
Once we had him down, he gave me no fight. He was talking to me no different than what me and you're talking. And even when I talked to him later in the police court, he apologized to me.
At this point, the pastor doesn't plan to have extra security or police for their services. He wants the doors to be open. Pastor Germany says he forgives Polite for doing this and wants to work with him to make sure he can better his life. In North Braddock, Chris Hoffman, KDKA TV News.
Okay, I'm
This is my
going
life.
to
This is where I'm supposed to be.
cut that off. I knew some ads would come up. Okay. So I feel like the last part where the pastor said he's not going to add security, he wants to work with Mr. Bernard Polite with his mental health. He forgives him. That's great. That's admirable. He said he apologized to him. I feel like, in my opinion, there's some issues there mentally. So my guard is up, and I instantly question if the apology was some form of manipulation. Maybe he's hoping that the pastor will not press any sort of charges against him. I think it would be out of the pastor's hands at this point anyway. I believe it would, at this point, it's criminal, so it's, it's up to the state. But I instantly felt like when they were saying, oh, he apologized to him, that it was manipulation. And I feel like it's not wise to not add security and add parameters just because, you could have lost your life. Anyone else could have gotten hurt. You said your daughter was right in the sanctuary. She saw all of this. She was traumatized. I get it that he apologized, but that still doesn't mean that you don't set a boundary so that it does not happen again. So I want to say that. Now, I feel like we are just living in crazy times, the last days, the last hours. And this isn't the first time, right, where we've seen some sort of violence or attempted violence in a church sanctuary. There were the Black parishioners who lost their lives in a church down in South Carolina in 2015. There was also, I remember here in Detroit, there was a man who tried it in a sanctuary in a church on the east side of Detroit, but he did not harm anybody. I would have to Google that story. That's been even longer than the 2015 incident down in South Carolina. But what annoys me so much about violence in churches is that the aggressor knows that the parishioners have their guards down extremely. They have God on their minds. They are worshiping him. They're feeling relaxed. Almost like if you were to go to a spa to relax or go to the movies just to chill and have a good time. I do that all the time. To go to the gym, you want to let off some steam, do something healthy for your body. When you're in those mindsets, you're not always thinking that someone could be crazy and come in here and try something. You may steer clear from people. You may keep your distance, be respectful, not put your hands on anyone, but you still may not think that things could escalate so severely. And I think that especially in churches, the aggressor knows that nobody is expecting them to come out of pocket. Thank God for that deacon whom, if I understand the story correctly, he was also the videographer. He was filming the worship service. And that's where he was positioned, where he was operating the camera that was on the pulpit. And then he was able to run up. They say he's like in his early 60s. And he was able to jump I don't know if that was like the table where you would have like communion set, but he was able to jump up on there so that he could get in the pulpit and tackle the man. So he was in good enough shape, healthy, had the speed, and like he said in that news article, that news package, he had the courage to come after the aggressor. So that was great. And I know that he and the pastor will always share that bond in that serious moment. But I do disagree with the pastor. He does need safety protocols in place. Hopefully the church members will speak up about it, honey. If that's a Baptist church, they're going to definitely let him know, okay, at the next church meeting. And they will have safety protocols in place. But I do think that the pastor should do that. And it's great that the guy apologized, but yeah, to me, he can't come up in there no more. I know that it's a church. I know that Jesus saves and everyone, but that guy still tried to do some harm. I'm sorry. And it seemed like he pulled the trigger and it jammed. So I don't want to say any words that YouTube doesn't like. So I'm trying to say them kind of fast and kind of almost mumble, but he needs to get help. And I felt like that apology was like some manipulation, in my opinion. So now this next story involves Shaunie O'Neal, the ex-wife of Shaquille O'Neal. Her husband now, he is a pastor. So I'm going to go to the Neighborhood Talk. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for being an amazing news source. And he and Shaunie, they were on Tamron Hall trying to explain him telling a parishioner to be quiet. So I'm going to play that last because that would be considered like the update, right? Because some people may not be aware. If you follow me on Instagram, on my IG stories, I have like a social media comic. He does a lot of collaborations with Candy. He oftentimes imitates Beyonce. And he and Candy make really funny videos about bedroom candy. Oh my gosh. But he did a video, like a skit of what happened in this man's church. So I'm going to play what happened in the church and then play the Tamron Hall clip, and then I'll come back with my commentary. So I'm going to mute my mic again so that there is no echo. And please hit the like button on this video.
I lift my hand oh, Iramasiaka, I lift my hands. Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus. I lift my hands into the only voice I want heard is his. So praise. I lift my hand oh, Iramasiaka, so praise. I lift my hands. Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus. I lift my hands into the only voice I want heard is his. So praise.
The video is not the total story. Yeah. So tell me what happened there.
Well, you know, social media is into cuts, not context.
Yeah.
And every suggestion that I got from every naysayer, I've already done. This is a 4-year battle, right?
Oh, this is ongoing.
This is ongoing. So I've already talked to her personally. I'd already had ushers go up to her. I've already had prayer warriors. I've had everything. So she did it publicly after being asked not to.
What is she? Is she crying? It's an emotional.
Well, you know, as a pastor, I know the difference between disturbance and worship. And what people have to understand, is that every time you hear a noise in church, it isn't worship. And so there has to be order. For instance, it's okay to applaud in this room right now. But if somebody got up and just started clapping right now, I'm sure somebody would bring order to the room.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I brought order to the room so people could hear God and not hurt. And I'd do it again if I needed to.
The video is not the total story. Yeah. So tell me what happened there.
Okay, so what did y'all think about that? I felt like it was a little weird, but I'm also not a member of that church. He told Tamron Hall that he's been dealing with this particular member and her shouting for 4 years. I guess perhaps she's been a member there for 4 years. I feel like it's deeper than her shouting. It just seems like you don't like her. I think you don't like her because I grew up Baptist and I used to be an announcement clerk at church. So you know how it is on a church program, like especially Baptist, you have like devotion by the deacon board. And then, someone's going to open up in prayer. The choir marches in, they sing a song or two. There's also like the first offering. And then the announcement clerk goes up. So that would be me. Lots of times the choir would be shouting. Church members would be shouting because, like I said before, I went up, there was an offering and the choir sang a song. So the spirit is high because they've been praising God. Also, there's altar call, which was what we saw in that clip. That's what it sounded like. They were about to get into prayer. So people a lot of times will shout. Now, did I ever have thoughts where I'm like, dang, y'all, I'm about to, let me read this stuff and then y'all can shout? Of course, you know what I'm saying? Because I also worked in children's church. So I would be down in children's church. I have to kind of like pay attention to where the adult worship service was at. So I could know, okay, let me put on my heels and go up to the sanctuary so I can do the announcements and get back to the kids. So there would be times I would be standing at the podium and then people are shouting, people are coming in the aisle. I remember a man, it looked like he was doing a two-step in the aisle, okay? And then there were times they were shouting and for so long, I would go back and take a seat, So I don't think people shouting and praising God is a huge deal. We always hear the saying, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what that individual is dealing with. So when they are shouting to God, it could be praising him for him bringing them out of stressful situations, healing loved ones, blessing them with a job, increasing their self-confidence, whatever. Or they could be currently in the situation and they're waiting on God to deliver them. So they are emotional and they are praising. But for him to say he's been dealing with her for 4 years, to me, it's giving context that he just don't like her. He just don't like her. And then I'm sure if it was like a curvy Angela Simmons or Lori Harvey or Beyonce up in there shouting, he probably wouldn't really mind it. I'm not saying that that woman is unattractive because she is attractive, but I'm saying like if it was somebody that he really likes, he probably wouldn't mind them shouting. It just seems like he don't care for her. But I get it, some may argue, let all things be done decent and in order, but it just seems just kind of strange to be like, hush, usher, silence her. It was just weird to me. What do you think? Now, he gave the example to Tamron Hall that in her studio for the talk show, if someone just randomly was like clapping, he said, I'm sure someone would go and address the room. And that's what I did. But Pastor Henderson, the difference is that in that talk show studio, that's for a talk show. That is being filmed for daytime talk on a network. Your place of worship, people do go there and expect to praise God. And I'm sure for the members that are more reserved with their praises to God, they're probably expecting to hear people shouting. So I kind of disagree with Pastor Henderson and him using that analogy. What do you think about the example that he gave Tamron Hall? I definitely wanted to talk about this. Of course, we've heard of the term church hurt. We've heard about, church members being offended. The church will try to give the word offended like a bad rap, as if people sometimes can't violate your boundaries, be disrespectful, judge you, So they're like, oh, you're offended. But no, you were just doing some shit. That's disrespectful, So I feel like this definitely generates a lot of that sort of conversation. But he's like this young preacher. He's married to reality TV star. It's not like those members are going to move on from the church or say anything. They're going to continue to sit up under that. And if it's some churches is not like a democracy. The members don't really get a vote or anything. You can just come in there one day, and if there's changes, there's changes. But I definitely wanted to bring this to you all and get your thoughts and see what you all thought about that. And it looks like also from the Neighborhood Talk that TikTok is now suing the U.S. federal government, saying that security concerns are not worth shutting down the app, the free speech app. So I think I'm going to check out that story, and I might bring that back to you all as well. But thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope that you're having a great day. I'm off of work today. So I have worked out at the gym, I went to the grocery store, and now I've created content. I think I'm going to go to the park. It is starting to rain, but it's all good. I can still go to the park and read. But if anything else pops off, Love and Marriage Huntsville wise, I will definitely be back. I hope that you are having a terrific Tuesday. Keep saying your affirmations, because you are that girl, you are that woman. And a journal to get your feelings out, or go to the gym to let off some steam. You'll feel great afterwards. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.